Good morning. Today we're going to look at righteousness and justification. What is the difference between the two? Now, if we go to Romans chapter 4, verse 1, we find the word righteousness and the word justification in the case of Abraham. And we can just study through Romans chapter 4 and we can see what this truly means. It says, and I'm reading from verse 1, "What shall we say then that Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, has found? For if Abraham were justified by works, he has something to glory about, but not before God. For what does the scripture say? Abraham believed God, and it was counted to him for righteousness." So we find the word righteousness there. That is in the Greek number for that word is 1343. And then we also find the word justified, and that is the Greek number 1344. Now, it's very close to one another in the listing, entire Greek definitions there, but it is still not the same word. The one is simply the word righteousness, and the other one is the word justification. It's got the same root, but different meanings. Let us look at the word righteousness quickly. The word righteousness means to have equity of character or act. In other words, you are doing the right thing. You've got equity of character or act. Thai definitions read it as follows. In a broad sense, a state of him who is as he ought to be, righteous, the condition acceptable to God. So to be righteous is to be in a condition that is acceptable to God. In Abraham's case here, he believed God, and the fact that he then believed was counted as, this is how you ought to be. This is the right thing to do. It's like having a child and you tell your child, listen, I'm going to pick you up at school, and the child then believes you. Well, he's doing the right thing. That thing, that condition that he is in when he believes you is then counted as righteousness. In other words, and that would count it, there would also be like a mathematical formula where you will mathematically count and come to a certain conclusion. So if you say, this is what I'm going to do, and you don't lie, and you are a person of equity of character, and you promise someone something, and that person believes you, it means relationally is lining up with what would be the right thing to do. A father that loves his child promises his child something, and as he promises his child and he intends to do the right thing, and the father will also do it and has the ability to do it, and the child believes him, the condition of that child is a condition of righteousness. Now, in the Old Testament, people attained unto that condition by the law. That means they had to be a physical descendant of Abraham. It's one of the things. Gentiles could also become part of the family of Abraham, and there was a certain way where they can do that, but let's leave that for now. They had to be the physical descendant of Abraham. Then the men had to be circumcised. They have to keep the Sabbath and follow the kosher laws and not worship idols. So there were certain things that they had to do whereby they were then seen as the people of God. That action, according to the law, would put a person at a place where you would be righteous, as you ought to be. So you can think for yourself. If the command is, believe me, what would righteousness be? Well, to believe. If the command is, be circumcised and follow the customs of Moses, how would we define righteousness? Well, we will now say, you have to do these things. And then once you've done those things, then you would be righteous. Now we find here that the word where it says it was accredited to him for righteousness, Abraham believed God and it was counted to him for righteousness, logizomai, which comes from the word logos, to take an inventory, that is to estimate. So he believed God, and God says, well, I estimate you I esteem you as righteous. Now, that does not mean that he was not righteous and God just sees him as righteous because he believes. That's completely wrong. If we think of it that way, we are thinking of an imputed righteousness here. In other words, he's not righteous, but God just sees him as righteous. That's not how this word works. The way this word works is as follows. Abraham was an idol worshiper. He was worshiping other gods with his fathers and so forth. He lived in Ur of the Chaldeans. Then God came and promised him something. Then he believed. When he believed, it was not imputed unto him as if he's not righteous. No, the fact that he believed God made him righteous. That is the right thing to do. He is as he ought to be. So Abraham believed God, and believing God was the right thing to do, and therefore it was said that he is righteous. Now, one would wonder, how do you know that it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Well, because his faith was vindicated. He was justified. And that is where we get to the next word now. First of all, and let us remember this, and that is to be righteous before God is defined by the command. What does God want from you? God wanted Abraham to believe God, but Abraham did not believe God. So when he did not believe God and tried to do his own thing, that action is then imputed to him. It is then accounted to him. It is said about him that he is not righteous because he's not believing God. Now, if you don't believe God, what are you then saying? You are saying God is a liar. Now, is that the right thing to do? No, it's not the right thing to do. So if God promises you and you believe him, you are in the right. So I want to say to you, if you believe God, you are righteous. So if God raised Jesus from the dead, appointed him as Lord, and you say he is raised from the dead and he is Lord and God exists and God did this to Jesus and gave us a Lord that can judge the world in righteousness, if that is what you believe, you are righteous. Why are you righteous? Because you believe God. It's not that you have been made righteous and you're not actually righteous. You know, we need to get this thing out of our mind that we are not really righteous. It's just God seeing us as righteous. No, God is not seeing you as righteous when you believe. You are righteous when you believe. You are righteous because that is the command. If you've believed, you are righteous. Now, some might argue, are you righteous by works? No, you are righteous by believing. You believe God, and therefore you are righteous. You're not righteous by works. Righteous by works would be circumcision and so forth. Well, I think I wanted to go into justification. We'll go into that tomorrow. But this is a good foundation. We will talk more about this tomorrow. If you believe in Jesus, I want to tell you, you are righteous. And you are righteous and seen as righteous because you are righteous, because you are honoring God. You're not making God a liar, and you believe upon him. Amen.